Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be comparing the Shelby F-150 off-road to the Ford Raptor R to see which super truck is best. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the young Ford here in Ogden for giving me some time with both of these trucks. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering the Raptor R is a supercharged 5.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10 speed. It puts out 720 horsepower and then 640 pound-feet of torque. And then powering the Shelby F-150 off-road is a supercharged 5 liter V8, so just a little bit smaller in displacement, also goes through a 10 speed. Now it produces 785 horsepower and then well over 600 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you're going to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the Raptor R, obviously crazy look. I mean, look at the front bumper here, super aggressive approach angle. You can look at those recovery points, super beefy, tons of skid plate protection underneath as well. You've got all the marker lights. So basically takes the Raptor, makes it look more aggressive. The Shelby F-150 off-road has that custom hood with the venting. You've got the stripes, you've got this custom bumper that's kind of more sporty with the design rather than trying to optimize approach angle like the Raptor R. And so yeah, seeing both of these trucks next to each other, they both look really cool, and you can see the height difference. The Shelby's a little bit taller, but they're pretty close. Now when it comes to tires, the Raptor has 37s, Raptor on 17-inch wheels, whereas the Shelby has 35s, Raptor on 22-inch wheels. If we take a look at the design on the Raptor wheels, again optimized for like off-roading, whereas this is more about style. Now you've got power side steps on the Shelby, whereas the Raptor has fixed side steps. And you can see the difference with the mirrors, just giving you an idea of the height difference, the slight height difference. Now notice the Shelby's a standard body F-150 with some big fender flares. The Raptor is wide body, but also big fender flares. Now suspension is a huge difference. So you can see the Raptor has the dual valve, live valve Fox shocks. Now these Shelby trucks are made by a company that's owned by Fox, so you can see we have the race series shocks with this, so really solid setup overall. Now here's your side profile with the Shelby F-150 off-road, and then here's your side profile with the Raptor. Now I do want to quickly show the back ends of both the trucks to show another difference. So the Raptor has that giant Ford plaque, and then again you've got this off-road style bumper, you can see with the cool exhaust tips, recovery points, whereas this has a nice painted bumper. You still have dual outlet exhaust tips, you got the Shelby logo, stripes and all that, and then you got the bed cap. But yeah, that's another difference. Again, you can see the Raptor is fully focused on off-roading, whereas the Shelby has some off-road stuff, but it also has some style. Now the Shelby F-150 off-road is built off of a Lariat, so you've got the Lariat interior on the door panel, and then you've got these custom Shelby seats with it, which I think look really cool. Tons of carbon fiber trim throughout the interior that's been added as part of this package. You also have these fancier pedals, standard F-150 steering wheel, that's something important to note. But yeah, you're gonna have the big infotainment system, 360 camera, you're gonna have a panoramic sunroof up top. You do have the cool Shelby plaque on the center console with this, but basically a Lariat interior with some upgrades. Now the Raptor R is kind of its own unique thing, but I would say that this is like a platinum interior. I mean, look at the door panel, for example, the material use, but then with some bucket seats added to it that are very race inspired. And then you also have the Raptor steering wheel. You do have carbon fiber trim with this as well. Got Raptor there on the center console. So basically it's kind of like platinum, but with some sporty stuff added. I mean, look at the trim on the dash, for example, just like what you have in the Platinum Plus. But yeah, in terms of like interior features, it's all pretty much going to be the same. Now when it comes to pricing, the Raptor R is technically less expensive. About $115,000 sticker price is what you'll usually see on Raptor Rs. Those Shelby trucks are about $140,000. Now something to note, most Raptor Rs, especially if you're in the western part of the US, will have some sort of price addendum tacked onto them that makes them as expensive as the Shelby truck or close to it. Well, let us set off in the Raptor R. So first off, I actually like these seats. They're firmer compared to the non-performance package EcoBoost Raptor seats, but they're comfortable enough in my opinion. And the Raptor also has extremely comfortable suspension, so it's like it's more than enough. Now you have tons of power out of the V8, tons and tons of power, like unlimited power basically. It is so much, and it feels perfect for this truck because the Raptor, again, the Raptor R weighs over 6,000 pounds. And this is why I always recommend people to look at the gross vehicle weight rating stickers rather than what the Lord Google says in terms of curb weights and everything. The sticker on the door jamb is always going to be more correct because that's specific to the vehicle, right? So yeah, it's a big beast. It is a big beast, and it feels like it. So with a big beast, you want to have big power, at least something that has suspension this sporty. Like, listen to that. This thing's a monster. Now it does hide the speed because you sit so high up off the ground, and because the suspension is so comfortable, you don't realize that it's going that fast. This is like almost one of those vehicles where you kind of have to be going crazy fast to be able to feel like you're doing something. And that's a good thing. Again, this is a vehicle that is intended to be hauling through the desert at like 100 miles an hour. And so you want a vehicle to be stable and all that. And this is why it feels like it's not going that fast, because of how stable it is, because of how comfortable it is. And trust me, you're going to want that if you actually are going 100 miles an hour in the desert. You're going to want comfort, you're going to want stability. Now, other than that, it's quiet. This is a luxury car. So the thing about the Raptor R is it is a very expensive truck, but it's got a lot of utility. You can use this as a pickup truck. It still has decent payload. It's not the best, but it's got decent payload, so you can use it as a pickup truck. You can tow with it. You can daily drive it very easily. Again, it's a full-on luxury vehicle. And then you can also use it as an off-roader. So if you use this for all of the things that it can be used for, then, you know, the $114,000 sticker price still a tough pill to swallow, and you can obviously do all the stuff that you can do with the Raptor in a much more expensive package with the V6 Raptor or with the new Ram RHO. But with this, yeah, you got the V8, which is fun. V8 is definitely fun. I like the Raptor steering wheel. Just the sporty feel to it, I think, is pretty cool. So I'll get you guys one last acceleration and then we'll just cap it off. Man, that chain link fence is kind of hard to see past. Didn't mean to do that. It's got some power. So, great engine, super fun truck, absolutely love it. And so, yeah, if you really want the ultimate V8 pickup truck, this really is it in today's market. This is really the truck to go for. It's got tons of power. It sounds great. It's got the Raptor suspension. And this is why in a lot of places in the US these are still sold out as expensive as they are, because of everything this offers. Well, finally been able to do this comparison. I wanted to compare one of these to an R because I've always kind of like compared them from a distance, but side by side is a different world altogether. Now, what I'll say right off the bat, the exhausts do sound quite a bit different. This is a little bit, let's say, rowdier compared to the R with the exhaust note. So there's a little bit of difference. Seats also, these are kind of more like luxe feeling rather than like the more buckety, snug seats in the R. Interesting. So the R definitely has, I would say, more of a punch. I wonder if the axle ratio has to do with it, because the R is going to have an upgraded axle ratio, whereas this, I don't think they changed the axle ratio. So you get the power, but yeah, I'm wondering on that. Definitely wondering on that. Comfortable, actually, like on road, it's not quite as smooth as the Raptor, and I think a big part of that is just the gigantic wheels. But it's actually pretty darn comfortable. The biggest difference you notice would be off-road, right? This is not going to have the stability of the Raptor because it's narrower. And then, yeah, the shocks are great on this, but part of the Raptor's magic is also the suspension. And this having traditional leaf springs, right? It's not going to be as comfortable. The back end's going to bounce around a little bit more off-road. So this is definitely more of a state street show truck than anything else. I mean, it definitely is. It's got capability. It could go places. You got 35-inch tall tires. You put 35s on anything and they'll be capable. And it has a rear locking differential too. So it's a nice drive. Huh. And I mean, something to note is those Raptors, it's hard to find them, and definitely not going to get a discount on them anytime soon. Whereas this, there's quite a few of these, right? It's not like they, I think they make these in lower production, the Raptor are, but like they just have a slower sales pace, right? It's a niche specialty vehicle, right? Anything that's aftermarket, it's going to be like that. It doesn't matter what it is. And so with that in mind, I'd kind of lean towards saying that I could probably get a much better deal on one of these. Or at least I'd say the actual market pricing is probably going to be pretty similar with both of these. This truck does look more special than the Raptor R. Like, both of them look great, but it looks like something more unique. You just don't see it as often. There's so many Raptors. Everyone has a Raptor nowadays, especially here in Utah. Everyone that does summer sales, that's what they do. They make their first dollar and boom, they go and buy an F-150 Raptor. That's how it works. Yeah, I think it's the axle ratio. It still is quick. It just doesn't have the same instant punch of the R. And it feels like axle ratio is the culprit. So let me know which route you would go. I'm partial to the Raptor R just because I'm a practicality person. I do not care for stuff that's for show. I like practicality, and the Raptor is more practical, right? It's like this has 22-inch wheels, which are just for show. They are completely useless for comfort, for off-road use and all that, whereas the R has 17-inch wheels because sidewall and tires, practicality, all of that. So that's kind of my 2 cents. I'm trying to get you guys one more acceleration, but got this Ogden traffic. Not my favorite. That's for sure. Not my favorite. Yeah, we should be good to go here. There you go. Let me know your thoughts.